You are welcome on this channel, my dear friends. Today's address is on language. Language plays a very important role in the world of expression and writing. Without the help of language, nobody can write anything and nobody can express anything. What is the common medium through which we express our emotions, our views, our intellectual learning, our vision, our philosophy, our thoughts? So it has a very important role or important place in human's life. Today's address is on language. Language always carries two dimensions at a time, and both the dimensions are diametrically opposite. One dimension is of logic, mathematics, thought, fact, and another dimension is love, poetry, prayer, and God. One which is the language of the world, language of the fact, language of the society, language of most of the people, is that part of our expression which is very important, but our language doesn't carry the entire concept or in the entire understanding or facts of the people. Its grip is limited. Usually we express ourselves through the language of the world, the language of the fact. When this is refined, it becomes the language of science. And when it becomes the language of science, there it becomes more objective, more purposive, more accurate, more articulate, and we carry our entire lives work with the language of the fact. But there is another dimension which is not factual but that exists, and because that exists, so that is also very important. That is the language of love, poetry, prayer, and God. Science doesn't understand the language of love, so it denies love, it denies poetry, it denies God, it denies prayer. Though that is not factual, but even then that is existential. So we cannot categorically reject the importance of the language of love. That is also very important. By a very simple example, I'm clearing one aspect. Suppose someone whom you love is on the deathbed, he is dying. You are there and he calls you and says, though I am dying, but you have transformed your my total idea of death. In totality, I have been transformed by your love. I will die, but I am not afraid of it because love has internally transformed me. And at that moment, if you call a doctor or you call somebody from the science faculty in the science domain, and you tell him, can you please detect what is the difference between that stage when he was very much afraid and uh, he was crying and he was in much pain, but now he is relaxed, confident. What brought this difference into his experience? The doctor won't be able to detect that difference. So this is the limitation of science. Here science fails. But it cannot be said that science will be failing in future also. It may be possible in future science will be in a position to detect the difference also. So I'm not giving an interrogative mark on science, but today, till today, science has not been able to detect the subtle difference of man's transformation. The day when science will start detecting and expressing love poetry also will be a different time for human being. But mystics and philosophers say that it won't be possible in future also, because the approach of science is quite different. So approach is not going to be changed in future. That's why science won't be able to understand love, poetry, prayer, and God. It will be quite different dimension for human wisdom and human learning. And this will be pursued by human beings also. Science, in future also, science won't be able to detect all these subtle difference in the man. So here I'm just going to end this video with this perception that there are two kinds of languages. One is that of fact, that of science, that of description, and the other one is the language of love, poetry, prayer, and God. Both the dimensions are existential. We cannot deny any of it. So with this, thank you very much, my friends.